Coming up, a new COVID-19 variant has been discovered in South Africa. We have the reaction to this new variant.
Plus, the holiday season just started, but already travel has increased. We'll show you what to expect at the airport.
And later, Hayden High School had their best football season in 25 years. How some unlikely players made a big difference.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Camila Williams.
And I'm Ryan Tismaneski. Thank you for joining us. The new variant of COVID-19 is already being monitored by public health officials across the state. Arizona held a press conference today updating their COVID-19 stats and future plans. Although the Omicron variant has not been detected in Arizona, health officials believe it is only a matter of time before it makes its way here. In today's press briefing, Dr. Richard Carmona, Arizona's COVID-19 advisor, said he believes the variant is already in the U.S. Carmona also mentioned that there's still a lot to learn about the variant, such as how transmissible it is. Arizona President Dr. Robert Robbins stresses the importance of staying informed.
I think it's important to recognize that new information on this variant will emerge rapidly and may at times be confusing to those of us who are not directly involved in the research. I encourage everyone to stay attuned to the guidance of public health officials and continue the public health practices we've been encouraging since this pandemic began.
Dr. Carmona mentioned that it will be at least a few weeks before we know the strength of vaccines against the new variant.
Over the weekend, the Omicron COVID variant made headlines after first being detected in South Africa. In response, many nations are taking different approaches to keep the variant from entering their countries and keeping exposure to a minimum. Dr. Anthony Fauci suspects the variant may already be in the United States, although cases haven't been officially reported yet. Today, President Joe Biden spoke about what we should expect as a country.
Best protection against this new variant or any of the variants out there, the ones we've been dealing with already, is getting fully vaccinated and getting a booster shot. Most Americans are fully vaccinated, but not yet boosted. If you're 18 years or over and got fully vaccinated before June the 1st, go get the booster shot today.
In a recent statement, the CEOs of both Pfizer and Moderna say they're already creating boosters to tackle the next emerging variant.
As the holiday season kicks off, airports are seeing more travel than usual. More than 14 million travelers have passed through TSA checkpoints throughout the U.S. in the past week. That's double compared to what it was last year. As of right now, there are no travel restrictions inside the U.S. due to the Omicron variant. However, starting today, the U.S. will restrict travel for non-U.S. citizens from South Africa and 7 other countries. Health experts advise those who are traveling to get vaccinated and wear a mask.
A sobering message for the start of this holiday season. Car crashes are the leading cause of death for people ages 1 to 54, according to the CDC. Cronkite News reporter Amanda Day went to an event promoting sober driving and met those impacted by drunk and drugged drivers.
I miss him. If you're a mom, your child dies before you. You die every day. Every minute of every day.
Lily Gossage's 16-year-old son, Hayden, was killed in early September by a driver suspected of being under the influence. She joined several families and advocates at MAD at a recent event to raise awareness against drunk and drugged driving.
This isn't an accident. It's manslaughter, it's murder. People who drive and take drugs, they choose to do that. There's so many ways to get Uber, to call, to not do that. That comes from a depraved and selfish heart.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration Department says alcohol-related crashes went up 9% in 2020.
Although there's 13% less cars on the road, the DUIs are significantly increased. And that is because of the pandemic. People are drinking more frequently, working from home. Those happy hours are becoming more frequent, and then people are getting in their cars and driving after.
According to MAD, someone in America dies every 51 minutes because of a drunk driving accident. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration Department says in 2019, 260 Arizonans and 949 Californians died in alcohol-impaired driving fatalities. In Long Beach, Amanda Day, Cronkite News.
If you or anyone you know has been impacted by a drunk or drug driving accident, you can visit madd.com for victim assistance.
Every year, Merriam-Webster announces the word that was looked up the most in its dictionary. This year, that word is vaccine. Merriam-Webster chooses its word of the year by closely looking at usage spikes and the year-over-year increase in searches. Lookups for the word vaccine increased 601% over 2020. This comes after the Merriam-Webster chosen word of 2020 was pandemic.
The season of giving is upon us, and one clothing brand is aiming to make a difference. After the break, we'll show you how the local small business is using profits to help the homeless.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons, your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go, lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
One student from Grand Canyon University is making his best effort to give back to those in need, not only during the holiday season, but year-round. Cronkite News reporter Milan Andrade followed the student for a day to show his acts of care.
It's important for people to understand people. Life sometimes can get overwhelming and extremely difficult. And based on these concepts, a business management student from Grand Canyon University makes his best effort to help those in need. And it starts in his parents' garage.
I have always wanted to have a clothing company. I really didn't know where and when and what I wanted to make the company about, but it's not just a clothing brand.
He starts by making his own clothes with an original vintage feel that he then sells on his website. With the profit he makes, he goes to thrift stores to buy clothes. From there, he makes his way to cities with water and snacks, volunteers, and of course a clothing rack to give clean clothes to those in need. Jason volunteers who come out to help call this movement Washing the City.
It's based on giving and how important it is to give within your community and give generously and give with an open mind and give with an open heart. And I think that when we start spreading and people understand how important it is to give, we will really see impactful change within ourselves and community.
I feel so blessed right now. I have to go somewhere and cry.
In Arizona, almost 11,000 people are experiencing homelessness. Jace has recently started attending more on-campus clubs at GCU to help spread awareness of homelessness and to get more volunteers to help wash the city. In Phoenix, Milan Andrade, Cronkite News.
Two of Arizona's largest ski resorts are preparing for skiers to hit the slopes again. Arizona Snow Bowl opened for the 2021 to 2022 season early last week. Meanwhile, Sunrise Park Resort has yet to open. Sunrise Park is facing weather challenges, which has stalled the snowmaking process. Today, Arizona hit its first sub-below 50 degrees weather since last March, according to the National Weather Service. Sunrise Park Resort says it plans to open for the season on Friday, December 10th. Midway and the Bunny Hill will open first until the other trails get a white blanket of snow.
The valley will be heating up to end the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Milan Andrade has the details from the Cronkite News Weather Center.
Happy Monday, everybody. Hopefully you're kicking the work week off strong after a long weekend of eating. And as we roll into the highs nationwide, we'll notice Arizona is the hottest state in the country. And in that narrative, we'll keep the same around the 80s as we roll into the highs for tomorrow. 81 in the Phoenix area and going as low as 59 in Flagstaff and in Page. The highest temperature for the state, however, is going to go ahead be 84 in the Yuma area. And as we roll down into the lows for tomorrow, we'll notice it's pretty chilly statewide, so make sure you keep a jacket nearby, especially if you are up north, hitting that legal voting age of 18 in Window Rock. It's going to be pretty chilly up there, so make sure you keep those layers nearby. And as we roll into the evening planner for tonight, the sun is predicted to set around 5 p.m., the end of the workday, but it can be completely gone by 6 p.m., hitting 74 degrees. Going all the way down to 63 by 10 p.m., clear skies across the board, so if you're looking to take a nice walk outside, tonight is a great night to do so. And as we hit the last day of November, the high will be 81, but 84 for the first day of December. But across the board, 7s for the rest of the beginning of the month of the last month of the year. A little bit of cloud coverage next Tuesday, but other than that, clear skies. In the Weather Center, I'm Milan Andrade.
I'm Andrea Aguilera. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. Carl Hayden High School is known as a basketball school, but this year the football team broke out in a big way.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons, your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
So would you welcome, please, the amazing. Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go. Lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
Welcome back. I'm Andrea Aguilera, and here's your Cronkite Sports Report. The Sun Devils kept the Territorial Cup for the 5th year in a row after exploding late against the Wildcats 38-15 on Saturday afternoon. ASU got off to a slow start in this one, letting Arizona hang around until the second half. But the Maroon and Gold finally pulled away after Ricky Pearsall's second touchdown of the game, which was followed by a Jack Jones pick six to seal it for the Sun Devils. After an up-and-down season for the Sun Devils, Herm Edwards announced he would return as coach.
I had no plans of leaving. So I think that was nice of Ray and Dr. Crow, obviously, to both be in there and to show the support of what we're trying to do here.
Edwards has a 25-17 record over the last 4 years at ASU and is taking the Devils to their third bowl under his watch. The Cardinals were on a bye week during Thanksgiving, but get back to practice this week with plenty of question marks. After Oklahoma head coach Lincoln Riley took the USC job, Cardinals coach Cliff Kingsbury was immediately thrown into rumors that he might leave for Norman. He was asked about that possibility earlier today.
Cliff, why not just say I have no interest in the Oklahoma job?
Yeah, I just, like I said, we're in season. We're at 9-2. Just not a topic I want to touch on right now.
Speaking of Oklahoma, former Pinnacle High School standout Spencer Rattler announced on social media this morning that he will enter the transfer portal. The quarterback lost his starting spot earlier this season with the Sooners, and now let the speculation begin on where he will land. Over to the hardwood, where the Suns made it 16 straight wins on Saturday when they cut down the Nets 113-107. Devin Booker was named the Western Conference Player of the Week after 3 straight 30-point games. Book has been a major part of the Suns' success, as it's been an entire calendar month since the Suns' last loss. We've celebrated Halloween, Thanksgiving, and started Hanukkah throughout this win streak. Now, the Suns find themselves with the second best record in the NBA and take on the league-leading Warriors tomorrow night. That record in playoff seeding is more important to the players than the win streak.
We're not too worried about our streak. You know, obviously, seeding and positioning in the West is important, which we learned last year. So, you know, we want to be around the top for sure. I mean, and we want to win every game that we go out there and play. So, you know, we just take it game by game. You know, we're not looking a week ahead or 2 weeks ahead. We're worried about Golden State tomorrow.
Carl Hayden High School's one struggling football program is making a comeback with its first winning season in 25 years. And as Cronkite News reporter Evan Oshowitz found out, the players responsible for the Falcons' comeback season aren't who you'd expect.
Ready, go! Carl Hayden Community High School is in the midst of its best football season since the mid-1990s. Led by third-year head coach Steven Arenas, the Falcons have found success with a hard-nosed, run-heavy playing style, and the school has begun to embrace the team once again.
This year, now that we're winning home games, everyone's coming out, so everybody's feeling the football culture like we are.
It's just been so supportive, so cool. You know, I've been here since 2016 as an assistant, and just to see the progression every single year, that's been really rewarding for us.
Many of the Falcons' best players, like rushing leader Kendra Pride and sacks leader Jordan Talbert, are multi-sport athletes who didn't originally plan on playing football. But their contributions are leading the way for Carl Hayden's Renaissance year.
There were some things over at Chavez that I didn't like, and my basketball coach became the head coach over here at Carl Hayden. And at first I was going to be a strictly basketball player, but I decided to play football.
As a result of their contributions, both Pride, a sophomore, and Talbert, a senior, have garnered plenty of attention from Division I schools. And with the amount of talent waiting in the wings for Carl Hayden, it's unlikely they'll be the last ones to get on recruiters' radars.
This year, we might had the most freshmen on Carl Hayden football team that have ever been in history. So we have freshmen that are coming up to play with us next year, and we have freshmen that were also injured this year that y'all didn't get to see.
That's one of the biggest things I told our athletic director in getting the job, is just giving our kids an opportunity to get out to the next level, getting college coaches on campus. We got some kids who can play ball and get them opportunities to get an education.
Carl Hayden won't be in the playoffs this year, but a 500 season is a sign of immense progress for the program, and the best may be yet to come for these young Falcons. In Phoenix, Evan Oshowitz, Cronkite News.
Carl Hayden just missed the playoffs, but are excited to build on this year's success. And that does it for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Camila and Ryan.
Get ready to line the streets of Central Phoenix for a light show. Coming up on how you can catch this annual event that puts holiday lights on anything that moves.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons, your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing. Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go. Lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
A recent survey shows an increase in anxiety on a number of topics during the Delta variant outbreak. Cronkite News reporter Brianna Isabel explains the results of the survey and how experts recommend dealing with stress related to racism, finances, and other areas.
The survey from NPR, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, and Harvard focuses on finances, healthcare, racial and ethnic discrimination, education, and unemployment among all households. The findings also found that Asian and Black Americans are dealing with additional fears and stressors.
No peace! According to the FBI, physical and verbal attacks on Asians, Blacks, and other minorities have only increased during the pandemic. Jessica Lopresti is co-founder of Bear Mental Health and Wellness. Lopresti's focus is promoting the resilience, health, and well-being of people and communities of color.
You know, now in the field of psychology, there's such a robust literature that, you know, we've done in our research team and with my colleague, Dr. Tahir Abdullah, and, you know, so many other folks that suggest that racism is by and large connected to mental health challenges, to depression, to anxiety and stress.
According to the report from NPR, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, and Harvard, 1 in 4 Asian households in the U.S. report fearing physical attacks and threats because of their race. 21% of Black households, 22% of Native Americans, and 8% of Latino households also report the same fears. Experts agree that feeling unsafe impacts mental health.
One of the most significant barriers that communities and people of color face are not necessarily only that Black people aren't accessing mental health care, it's that when we do, that the mental health care is not culturally responsive. Folks are entering therapy and sort of sitting across from someone and saying, you have no idea like what I experience, how sort of who I am affects my mental health. So how could I possibly talk to you and find help in our sort of relationship?
According to the FBI report, in Arizona, hate crimes went from 209 in 2019 to 282 in 2020. Lopresti says the first step to making a true change is educating ourselves to better understand one another.
We need people to sort of be aware of how they were raised to even think about race. So just like sort of acknowledging even for ourselves, the things that we grew up with is a first piece, like awareness. Then there's like awareness and an acknowledgement of sort of what people of color are going through. And so like, I think we need some education around what these words mean that we're sort of throwing around a lot. We're doing a lot of work to train therapists to engage in more culturally responsive treatment so that when people of color enter those spaces, that it is a place where they feel like they belong.
The reports say that 38% of households across the nation report facing severe financial problems in the past few months. This factor also contributes to mental health problems, according to experts.
Reducing socioeconomic inequities, that kind of goes across the board of realizing that there is a connection with poverty, racism, how racism contributes to poverty, how poverty then contributes to mental health problems. All of this is intermingled.
Dr. Melda Bethia-Frostro is a research scientist at the UCLA Center for Health Policy Research. She too spends her time focusing on the social determinants related to the inequities these communities are facing. The survey was conducted August 2nd to September 7th of this year. More than 3,500 adults responded. Interviews were conducted in a number of languages, including Mandarin, Korean, and Vietnamese. In the newsroom, Brianna Isbell, Cronkite News.
APS plans to start the month of December bright with their annual electric light parade. The parade will begin on December 4th and will feature hundreds of lights. The 2.3-mile parade runs through central Phoenix and starts at 7 p.m. Expect large crowds and bring blankets and chairs. Seating will not be provided. The theme of this year's parade is Peace on Earth.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thank you for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.